button and share my screen, and then we'll get rolling here.
Morning, everyone. Hi.
Good morning.
Okay. Can you guys see the slides?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Well, it's a first. I know everybody on the call. That's kind of fun. That doesn't happen every day, but thank you guys for being here. We are going to talk a little bit today about this amazing new grant program that we have now. Thank you to MacKenzie Scott for giving us $30 million so we could do this. I'm going to, since we are a small group today, let's do just a real quick icebreaker. So if we could run around and share our name and department, how long we have been at this fine institution known as Pasadena City College. If you have received a grant in the past before, what did you buy? And especially if you have gotten a grant from the foundation back when we used to do the mini grants, and or what are you hoping to fund with a grant for this coming year? I am Chris McPeak. I work as the Director of Programs and Alumni Engagement for the Pasadena City College Foundation. Grants are programs, so that falls under my purview. I've been here for almost 9 years now. I can't believe I just said that out loud. That freaks me out in a good way. And I have received a grant, but not here at the college. Tournament of Roses grant back when Elaine Cardis was here, if y'all remember those days. Alex, can we have you go next, please?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alex Bucklehead. I work in the president's office and I also oversee marketing. Hi, everyone. Glad to be here. I've been at PCC for 7 going on 8 years this year. Wow, 6 going on 7. There we go. That's a little more manageable. Golly, have I ever received a grant? I don't think I ever have, but I'm sure looking forward to this program. It's very exciting. And we've been seeing a lot of good people come on with a lot of good ideas. So we're looking forward to today. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, Dr. Rojas, you are up next.
Hi, folks. My name is Leti. I teach in the education department, and I have been at PCC. I think this is my 3rd year. Pandemic feels like it extended that time, but I also run the Hickson Teacher Prep Program, and last year we were able to launch a new cohort of students called the Future Teacher Scholars, and we're able to provide them stipends and lots of great activities. But it was a one-time donation that really kind of covered that piece of it. So I'm looking hopefully to get a grant that's going to continue the program and then extend it to the direction of teachers of color, which we've been wanting to work with specifically. But I'm just excited to be here and to learn a little bit more about this. I've never worked with a grant specifically at this institution, but I have worked with grants in previous jobs.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Dr. Young, would you like to go next?
So my name is Phil Young, and I teach in the performing communication arts, and specifically in the area of piano. I've been in the institution quite a long time. I think I've been full-time maybe 12 years. I'm not positive about that, but I was 13 years adjunct before that.
Wow.
When I was adjunct, so you have to wait a long time to get a job at PCC. When I was adjunct, actually, I had 2 grants. This is way before actually even Bobby. I had which funded artists, and I brought over 2 former pianists that I had studied with in the East Coast, Peabody Conservatory, and one of the other teacher teaches at Juilliard. And so they're arriving actually, that whole situation eventually funded the artist in residence program, because the mother of, well, that's a long story anyway. And then I also received a mini grant several years ago about funding, bringing back pianist alumni to talk about what their experiences after transferring. And these are all students who are actually have been working in the field of music, and where did that path take them from PCC to where they are now.
Thank you for joining us. Maggie, you are up next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Maggie. I'm Regalado Rivera. I am the director of PAS. I'm here at PCC, and I've been here going on 8 years, like Chris and Alex, we probably just followed each other. PASS, for Philip and Leticia, we PASS services low income first generation and students with disabilities. We service a small group of students. It's a federally funded program, which means it is a grant. So I have to rewrite grants every 5 years so that we can get funding. That being said, we have limited amount of funding that we get, and most of it goes to staffing. So I seek out small grant opportunities and partnerships to gain more funding to provide service to students. And in the past, with some of this funding, I've first and foremost done book vouchers, meal cards for students, supplies for students, graduation gifts for students, all of which I can fund through my program. Also some cultural activities like going to plays and dinners and having students have great opportunities that they can maybe afford or can't even think of doing themselves. So yeah, I'm really excited. I know this one's a little different. So I've done grants with the foundation before, but I just want to hear what I have some ideas, but I just want to hear what else we can do before I kind of get going on this. But anyway, nice to meet everybody.
Alex, do we have anybody new pop in, or is it still just us?
So it's just our chickens.
Okay. Quack, quack. No, that's a duck. PASS was known as Student Support Services at my alma mater, the University of Arkansas, and that is where I did my graduate, my counseling internship for grad school. So yeah, that's a program that's near and dear to my heart. So let's move on to our first slide. The Community Excellence Grant Program is sort of a brainchild of our superintendent president after we did get this amazing gift from MacKenzie Scott. It's going to be a way for us to elevate exceptional ideas that will help advance our mission. And what we're looking for is really, Alex uses this word supercharge. I love the thought process behind that and the vision that that gives us. So to take these qualities of our culture and help either provide seed funding or experimentation space, really so that we can grow all of these amazing things that we're doing, whether that's taking a good thing that we have right now and making it great, like my Strengths Finder Maximizer talks about yet. Oh, you're not seeing the slides move. Let me stop sharing and reshare.
And here I am saying they haven't moved yet.
Okay, go back here, share screen. How's that?
Yep, you're good.
And do we see movement now?
You're in business.
Okay, good. Anyway, we're looking to take good programs, make them great, and or find new ways to dig into things that we can do with extra funding, extra opportunities for our faculty and our staff. Because what we are looking to provide here, my friends, is opportunities to fund student success, opportunities to close that achievement gap, opportunities to advance the completion agenda, all of those things. We want to support academic excellence and innovation related to student learning in the classroom and also to the overall student experience here at PCC, because we know that being a college student is not just about getting grades and transferring. It's about, as my father used to say to me, he would say, Chris, I really don't care if you graduate or get a degree. I just want you to learn how to become a fully functioning adult member of society. And we can do that in dozens of ways here at Pasadena City College. So I want to first talk about clarification on hardware and software before we go into the next slide on restrictions and the like. So if you are looking to upgrade your personal equipment, like if Maggie were to say, Chris, I really want one of those MacBook Pros that has killer screens like Michael Ehrig has in his office, that's not really what we're looking to fund through this grant program. But if there are computers that might help Maggie's past students have a better opportunity to apply for transfer, she's asking for that, maybe we can go there. Or if there's something cool that Phil needs in his classroom, like a different kind of piano teaching software that allows students to practice remotely. And I'm totally making this up as I go. But something cool that you can use in your classroom, we can definitely go there. What will not be funded are programs that rely only on individual stipends. And we also are not going to be funding budget supplanting. So we want to enhance funding, not replace funding. We won't fund projects that last longer than 2 years. So when you apply for your grant now, that funding will be made available July 1 of 2022. So you need to be able to complete your project by June 30th of 2024. Is that right, Alex? Did I do the math correctly? Okay. And then obviously we won't fund anything that's going to violate or be in conflict with district policies. So if you need to study up on that, I recommend that you do that before you work on your application. Awarding process and timeline. So we are in the third of our live virtual workshops. These workshops are being recorded and they will be made available on the foundation webpage. You may want to go back and watch the other two, as there have been interesting questions that have come up at all of the workshops that may help your own planning process. We are looking for these apps to be completed. They're due on March 4th of this year. And when I say March 4th, that's going to be 11:59 p.m. on that Friday, because that is the way that the software program that we use will close. Can't put a time on it, but we can put a date on it. And then the selection committee that Dr. Ender Jonas is building, that group will meet in mid-March to read and score all of the applications. And then the grant recipients will be announced at our Above and Beyond Awards, that I think this will be year 3 of said awards. And that is going to be held on April 19th, which is a Tuesday. And also I think the day before the groundbreaking too. So that's going to be a fun, busy week. And then as I referenced on the previous slide, funding will be made available by July 1st of 2022, and you can start spending at that time. What will make for a successful application? So we're looking for originality, innovation, excitement, things that are different and unique. Anything that pertains to student success, or like I said, moving that completion agenda, closing that achievement gap, making your program bigger and better and cooler and snazzier than it has been before. We would like as many details as you are physically able to provide to us. If that is in the way of just a very specific narrative about your program, or if you can bring it down to the dollars and cents and quotes, we want to see as much as you're able to give us. A realistic spending plan would include a budget that either has, like I said, an Excel spreadsheet with dollars and cents, or a really good narrative about what you're looking to fund and how much you think you're going to need to do it. You don't have to have a budget that's down to the penny, but as close as you can get to giving us that ballpark dollar amount of what you'll be able to do with this grant. I'm going to jump forward to the 5th bullet point here that talks about what you can do if awarded the funding, as opposed to what you won't be able to do. So this is not a grant application that says, if I don't get funding from the Community Excellence Program, I'm just going to have to fold up everything and pack it in. So that's not what we're looking for. We want you to think positively and think about growth and enhancement of your program. Thinking strategically. We all participate in the annual update process every year. So I know that you guys have the experience with thinking about how to enhance your program, thinking about the things you need to have your program grow. And Crystal and Dave Colley have taught us over the years to really be thinking in accordance with how the educational master plan fits into things we do, even if we're not in the classroom. And then if you're not fully funded, what is your plan B? So if the initiative that you're spelling out is for $50,000, what if you only get $30,000? Can you still make your program work? And how would you make that happen? Bobby made a great analogy last Monday about the concept of a football field. If you want a football field that's 100 yards long, you won't be able to fund your initiative if you're only given a football field that's 70 yards long. So thinking in terms of what kind of adjustments you would need to make if the amount that you asked for is not granted to you. That's always a possibility in the grant world. And those of you that have applied for government grants and other programmatic grants know that to be true. I have learned that as well. In the adult learn to swim world, is we always ask for the maximum amount and we never get it, but that's okay. I'm going to be your point person throughout this process. If you have questions, concerns, anything that you want to kick around for ideas. And so I think all of you know how to find me. I'm going to stop sharing my screen at this point and we'll open it up to questions. What is brewing on everyone's mind? And Alex and I will try to fill that in for you.
So Chris, I know that you mentioned, you gave an example of $50,000. So that's something I was curious about, if you all were looking at like a range of amount for particular grants, or if we just kind of sky's the limit and just put down.
No,
what we
that's a
truly
great
need.
question. And I think that we do want you to think, I think I missed a slide. Did I miss a slide? What will be funded, what will not be funded, no, I guess I didn't. It's in the FAQs, it's on the webpage. So first of all, we don't have a cap determined yet. Having said that, there is $1 million that's been made available for this process. So we will fund projects that meet the criteria up to $1 million. So Letty, that could mean your grant application asks for 50K, it could ask for 100K, keeping in mind that we want to award as many, how we do with the scholarships. We want to give the most amount of people the most amount of money that will make a difference for them. So yeah, but then Bobby has also said, yes, think big, think pie in the sky, think, what can my program look like if I have a particular amount of money, or even, I haven't thought about what I could possibly do with $50,000, but here's where we go with that. So does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. Thank you.
So Chris, I have a question. So I have a partnership with somebody on campus that provides funding for a career advisor. This career advisor they're limited with funding, but they want to provide support. So that counselor, that advisor is only here a certain amount of time. If I wanted to add her another day and pay for her out of this money, is that a possibility? Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
I think as long as that's not the only part of your request.
No.
And I think also too, like, if you bring a person on, like this is seed money for that, we just want to make sure that whoever your dean director is above you, that there's support for the possibility of that becoming institutionalized. Because what we're not trying to do is to bring on a person that then can't be kept. You know what I'm saying? Like you create funding to bring that counselor on half-time for your program, half-time for their program. But then when your grant funding is gone, you have to let that person go. And how does that impact your program? And Alex, if you can say this more delicately or spectacularly than I'm trying, because I'm.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to just clarify really quick, Alex. Sure. She's working in another area.
Yeah, and you borrow her.
PASS does not fund her. She's working in another area. And they allow for the collaboration. It's beneficial to both programs, right?
So you're thinking you would like to add her to your budget so that you have dedicated hours and you're not borrowing
a little bit, or even add her extra, just add out of assignment, and she's going to continue with that area. She's still working more hours over there, but it would be beneficial for me to be able to get somebody longer than just twice a month.
Yeah.
I think that totally makes sense. And I think that's kind of what we're looking for here, right? Like there's an idea that you've had that's been working, but you really want to try to scale that up, or you want to have a little bit more resources to see if you can help more students to see where it might go, right? I think the things you want to keep in mind are make sure that you're really closely collaborating with the other office, right? If this is one person that you're going to use more of, you want to make sure that you're in touch with that person's supervisor or dean or whomever, so that we're not poaching, right? The grant funds are not supposed to supplant, right, funding that already exists. So if this is something that's already being funded, just be careful about how the funds might come in and take over stuff that's already being done. And this is key. We're not looking to start programs and then keep them on this grant forever, right? It really is going to be a 2-year window that this funding will exist. And then the idea is that that's not going to continue beyond those 2 years. So if you strike gold, if you find something that really works and this resource does something awesome, and then try to find a way to bring that into a more regular source of funding on the campus so that we can keep that going, right? Don't come back to the community excellence grants a couple years later and say, this really worked, I want to do the same thing for 2 more years, right? That's not the vision of how this thing is going to work out.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So will next year there be another sequence of grants is it a 2-year cycle of grants?
It's a 1 year, every year there will be a new series of grants, but the people in charge of each grant will have 2 years to spend out. we realize on the college, it can be tough to spend money, and you need to get quotes and you need to go through a purchasing process. You need to get your ducks in a row, sometimes for months before you can even go ahead and get $1 out the door, right? And we don't want people to spend 9 months getting things lined up and then find out they've got to spend the whole thing in 3 months, right? So we want to give folks some time to get a program that's actually going to, get the money spent responsibly over a 2-year period. But yeah, next year we're having the same conversation. There's going to be a new crop of projects coming our way.
Thank you, Alex, for helping fill in that stuff.
Thank you, Chris. You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. This is fun. I like this stuff.
Yeah. Well, giving away money is fun.
But giving away money is fun, whether it's scholarships or mini grants or big, I started to say big ass grants. And there I just said it, big grants. I want to quickly share my screen again and show you where the application is housed. If you are familiar with Academic Works, which I definitely know Maggie and Letty are, can you guys see the screen here? Okay, so we are using the software that we use for scholarships to house the application for this. And we can do that with this concept called a flexible application. So you won't have to log in as if you're a student and bypass all the student questions. You'll be able to go right directly to the application itself. And so I can plop this in the chat for you guys. It's also available in the link that came out with the Inside Outside PCC email that comes out every Monday. So to apply, you will just log into this like you would if you were an administrator, and you'll fill out the questions. You have to use the specific link to do that. You can't just log in as like Letty and Maggie could not log in as their role as scholarship administrators for their areas. They'd have to still log in using this specific link. So there's the different questions here that we're asking, and we added opportunities for you to add all kinds of different attachments. So your budget document will be here, and this can be anything, PDF, doc, or Excel file. You're going to add, it says add a new reference. You're really just going to add the name and email address of the dean or director that will help you oversee. And then there's space here at the end to add up to 2 more documents, PDFs, Word docs, or Excel documents. And then you can add up to 2 images. If you need or want to add more stuff, I would scan into a big PDF and upload a big PDF. And then, as always, you'll hit finish and submit to make sure that you're fully submitted to the application process. And I will pop that link in the chat for you right now. And I will stop sharing once again and just see if there are any other questions from this group. And y'all know where to find me. So if you misplace the link, or you want to pick my brain, or you can pick Alex's brain too. He's just a little busier than me. Probably a lot busier than me. But.
I think you're busy too, Chris.
Yeah, flea market. Like, wow, anyway, I love the flea market. The flea market is beautiful.
We're here to help. We can answer any questions.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say at PCC, if you're at PCC, you're always busy.
You're always busy.
I haven't
I'd rather be busy than bored. That's
I haven't met anybody who's chilling, let me tell you.
It's got a lot of energy.
Yeah. I have no questions, actually. I was just kind of trying to get any ideas of anything new from previous grants that we've done with Foundation. I am thinking of things and trying to think bigger. But I'm also maybe thinking smaller things too, you know what I mean? Like just a little bit of everything, because we are so limited with our grant funding. I just want to get a feel for anything new. So thank you.
If you want to meet separately, Maggie, and kick the thoughts around, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Or just shoot me an email and yeah, we'll make it happen.
I will. Thank you.
For any of you, if you want some extra time to kick ideas around, please let me know.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Well, yes, Phil, go ahead.
Is there a rubric in terms of how these grants are being evaluated?
There will be. There isn't one now. Maybe there isn't one today, but there will be prior to. And I would venture to guess we'll make that available so people know It's just, it's not created as of yet. Or is it? Alex, it's not created yet. We don't have.
No, we haven't. This is the first year we're doing this. And we really want to have the review committee have some input on that rubric as well. So it's TBD at this point.
So the rubric won't be, it will be after we submit the grants. That's what I'm hearing, right?
I'm not sure if we're going to have a rubric available before the deadline. So I would proceed with the understanding that this is the first year we're doing this. Thanks, Maggie. That and we're learning along with everyone submitting applications. I think if you have a good idea, put that idea together as much as you can and send your information in, and we'll evaluate it. I think that's the where we are this year. Okay.
And what is the selection committee? How is that? What kind of makeup is it of people in that selection committee?
Sure. I'll take that, Chris. Dr. Androgenis has given that a lot of thought because, when the grant was made, it didn't come with a lot of specifications, right? And it was made directly to the college. And so what Dr. Androgenis and the foundation have done is identified a few foundation folks who can help review in the context of what the foundation funds. And then Erica has chosen a couple of people. I think she's reaching out to a faculty member, the foundation people, and then I think Chris, are you serving on it? I know I'm serving on it.
I'm not a reviewer. I'm just an administrator, I guess.
Yeah, you're the administrator. Yeah, so it's I don't have the names at present, but it's a mix of folks from the foundation and the college, Phil.
Well, anything else for the good of the order, my friends?
No, I think I definitely have enough. Thank you. Thank you so much for this morning.
Thank you.
No problem.
We're looking forward to seeing your ideas. Thank you.
And Alex, thanks as always for your support.
Thank you, Chris.
Always great to have you along for the ride, and happy hump day, everybody.
What a ride it's been. Thanks.
See you guys soon.
Be well out there. Thanks.
Bye.